I am Bhavik. I have my co-host with me, Sambhav. We are hosting two guests today, Abhay and Vaibhav. So we are hosting from India, and like there are so many things to discuss. But firstly, we were about to discuss Nostr and decentralization of Nostr and how Bitcoin and Nostr are growing. But I came to know about some protest thing in Ladakh. So I thought, why don't we discuss this? So before that, welcome Vaibhav, Abhay, Sambhav. I think we all,
Hello.
and I am Bhavik. Yeah, we all have Bha in our name, right? Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. How are you? Fine.
I'm good. Excited to talk about Nostr. And I'm always excited to talk about Nostr and stuff and Bitcoin.
Yes. So I think first of all, let me directly show you that video, right? And then I will tell briefly about that thing. So yeah, are you able to see the screen?
Yep, it's
Yep.
visible.
Okay, so I'm starting it.
Airports.
Sorry.
The video paused.
Yes.
Sixth schedule provides autonomous councils of elected representatives, small parliaments of indigenous tribal people, where they can decide how these mountains should be managed. These are people from here, from this Mars or moon that I was speaking. They know how to manage it. They always think of next generations, not just for today. Whereas right now we are governed like a colony by a bureaucrat or a lieutenant governor who comes here for just 3 or 4 years and goes back. So, without understanding this place they come, and sure they'll make many mistakes, and we'll be there to bear the consequences. This is when it is the best of persons who come. They'll make mistakes. The worst ones will sell off these places to corporates and industries who are waiting like hawks on the fence line to see whether Ladakh is protected or open.
So yeah, like did you guys get the idea? Like why did I show you this thing?
Yep,
Sambhav, would you?
Definitely.
right. So, a very interesting take by Mr. Wangchuk here. He says that the government is only thinking about what what's the best thing to do in the next 4 to 5 years of time frame. And yes, it is correct. That is the only thing they're looking for. This is democracy. Democracy is said to be by the people for the people,
Of the
but
people.
yeah, and that is only for the next 4 years. They'll do whatever it takes to win the next 4 years. Right, that's they just need to stay in power. That is democracy. And I think this really puts into perspective the negative aspects of Indian democracy. As someone who lives in Himachal, right, we have the
Yes.
same things in Himachal.
Yes, you guys are in Himachal. Sambhav and Vaibhav are in Himachal.
Yep.
We had when I was a kid, right, on my way to school, we had tens of thousands of trees at in a certain road, right? On a certain road, you'd look left and right, and it was just a forest. It is insanely depressing when you think that just an year later, I think I was 8 years old back then. Just a year later, there were no trees there. Solan is not how cold it used to be. It is insanely depressing when you see that many trees cut out, trees laying on roads, trees that are not even being used clearly.
Yes.
And it's clear now. It's 30-degree in Solan.
Mm-hmm.
It never hit 30-degree in Solan. My teachers used keep on talking about how they'd find crows and pigeons and things in the
Mm-hmm.
school in early mornings. Now they don't see it.
Oh,
These are the effects local people are facing, and government is not sparing any consequences. Government is not accountable.
yes. And I think this
That,
this happens because of the centralization. Because for last few days and few weeks, I am thinking so much about centralization, control, decentralization, the openness. So so this Ladakh thing, let me tell you for the viewers who don't know this thing. So the in the 2019 parliament manifesto for the BJP parliament election, the manifesto for the BJP, the top three, the one of the top three top points was that the Ladakh will get the sixth schedule in the Article 244 or Article 245 something. So what the sixth schedule gives Ladakh the power to their own people, so they can decide what to do with with these mountains, how they can build the infrastructure or how whatever, because they locally know the things, and they don't, they have the skin in the game, right? Because their children will have to bear the consequences of their bad behavior. And this so they Indian government, the BJP, we don't, I don't know to name the take the name of the party, but they made the fake promise. And they allowed, and they did it in 2019, they did it in 2020 in that UT something elections. And now, but until then, and now they are clearly denying for the sixth schedule. So few bureaucrats who are deciding what will happen to Ladakh. And if you see locally, there are many videos. So industrialists are taking so much land for developing parks and roads. And so I think it is a very big protest. And he also like he completed 21 days fast. He just completed 21 days fast in 26th March. And it was in minus 12 degrees. So I don't agree with all the things Sonam Wangchuk said, like about global warming or climate change. Yes, global warming is happening, climate change is happening, and there are so many propagandas. Like, but and I don't know, like what's his take on these solar things and other renewables and other climate agenda things. One of which is saying that these glaciers are melting. So like, do we have data like how much like glaciers are really melting or no?
I
that's
think we don't have an accurate data as of now, but as far as what I have heard, because as we discussed, I also live in Himachal. So the overall, the glacier size of the of the places that were in Ladakh or Lahore Spiti and all that place, they constantly decreased, and
Mm-hmm.
it has happened from past like 10 years, 10 so years. And probably one of the greatest reason of this was the overall global warming that happened in the
Yes.
nation, on the globe as itself. And if we, talk particularly about Himachal, about, I don't remember, about 15 or 10 or 15 years before the project,
Yes.
the Full project that was started, it got its, approval from the government. And in that project itself, it was clearly stated that the amount of trees which would be cut to,
Yes.
make the highway, those trees would be replanted, plus those
Okay.
would be reused. And as far as I know about Solon, nothing happened like that.
Yes.
I was old enough to see the trees, you know, cut down. As Sambhav talked about,
Yes. Yes.
thousands of trees got cut down, and they were just the trunks of those trees were just lying on the sides of road unused. And
Hmm.
since then, only after that particular phase, the temperature of Solon, the city, and or another cities like nearing the Shimla
Yes.
or other cities, constantly like started rising. So
Yes.
that also resulted in the glacier
Mm-hmm.
meltdown.
Mm-hmm. So Abhay, I raised the issue because in Bitcoin we talk about like centralization, decentralization, and I think that this is one of the consequences of centralization, or let's say
Mm,
fiat system. Like, what would you like to say? You are not audible. I think you're mute. Yes. Hmm. Still not audible.
Still not audible.
Still not audible. I think you can rejoin. You are not audible yet. I think.
Discord messes up.
Yes.
Right. A very interesting topic we talked about today.
Hmm.
Let's wait
I
for
think.
her.
Yes.
that angle that we just talked about the centralization, like if the local people would have got the chance to decide that what should happen in Ladakh, that's an interesting take. Let
Yeah, means
Ved talk about.
like there is a risk. There is risk everywhere. Like every like action has a consequences, but the locals know the most.
The
So we
best. Yeah.
can't have the like better decision than those people. Like they can take the best decision. Abhay is
The
not able to
government
do
has
it.
an
Agreed.
incentive. See, the government has an incentive to sell off everything that the people own, right? The locals don't have such an incentive, right?
Yes. Yes, Abhay. I think
Can you hear me now?
yes. Nice, nice. We can
Yeah.
hear you.
Nice.
Okay, I think there was some problem with the
Yes,
with
yes, yes.
Discord. Uh, yeah, so I was saying that I'm pretty sure that somehow down the line fiat does connect with it,
Yes.
because fiat does corrupt everything. But on the topic of centralization and decentralization, I am not sure whether everything needs decentralization. Not everything does need decentralization. Sometimes it hinders things, as you can see in the case of most cryptocurrencies, like decentralized blockchains are just inefficient databases in most cases. But in some cases where we know the solution very well, in a way that we know, okay, this is the final solution, and we would want to make sure that the security of this solution is ensured, that's when you would want to use decentralization, as Satoshi used for a financial system, because we know that, okay, this is the amount of supply that we need to cap, and need to ensure that nobody changes it. That is why we need decentralization in order to ensure it. But I don't think that's the case with all the systems.
Yes.
As in, it's not necessarily. In fact, it is definitely not the case with all the systems, because
Yes.
in most of the systems you don't need decentralization to do it. As when it comes to politics, of course, I am on the side. I am on the libertarian side. So I would want more power, more decentralized power. But even there are central systems that I don't think do need to go away.
Yes.
My thought has not been made up completely on the topic of decentralization and politics yet,
Yes.
but I can definitely say that decentralization is not a panacea that you can take and fix everything.
Yes, that's why I raised this issue because yeah, yesterday morning or yes, today morning you said that Nostr decentralization paper, like Nostr is not dependent on top 30 relays. So I was thinking, like, and because of Bitcoin, the centralization, decentralization, and there has been so many like lessons, and so many great saints also talked about the decentralization of power. So I like this is this topic is open for debate, like I think. But what I understand from the decentralization is that if like let's take the scenario for like father and son. Okay, so like father is taking care of their son. Okay, and 1 2 3 4 5 years, like they try to train them, they educate them, like, so let's assume these are the protocols. Okay, but once they teach them, like up to 4 5 6 7 years, the influence of fathers will reduce, like the parents influence of parents will reduce, and children has to take their own decision. So in a way, as a child become elder, the power comes like power flows from the parents to their children. Do you understand this
children.
thing? So if so that that will bring the good decision, like the whatever child decides, he will have to bear the consequences, and parents will take care of them, and slowly they will learn. So there are degrees, like, but I have seen so many parents who try to control their children can't do anything without asking their parents, and I have seen them, like they are not successful in their life. So I keep reminding of this thing, like, so yeah, I can also talk about Bitcoin and Nostr, the decentralization of Bitcoin and Nostr. But this Ladakh thing, the power, the governments, the current governments holds like wants to hold power in their hands, and they have, and as Sambhav said, they have incentive to like sell out those lands to industrialists, right? We have seen this. They broke the, like they bifurcated the Kashmir state into J&K and Ladakh, and now they are trying to bring so much industrialization and like tourism and so many things. But this should come from their own people, like, you know, not outsiders don't know about this thing. Anyone want to say?
Definitely,
That's
definitely.
really
Hmm.
that's
One
so
thing
right.
is for sure, like the government, which is selling all the things. One of the major things that they are selling is the lithium ion mines that they have found in Ladakh, and they have got a great incentive to just sell it out. And that's had a really huge impact in Ladakh.
Uh, yes, lithium ion. So they have started mining.
No, so 6 months or some time ago, I don't remember
There
the
was some
exact time.
news.
Yeah, the government found out a huge lithium ion mine inside Ladakh that would, fulfill the requirements of, the EV industry of India, definitely, and that would hugely impact to the cost of batteries that we have to right now import. So within a very short span of time, they just, sold that to some industrialists. I don't want to name those industrialists. I
Yes,
hope
well,
you all
everybody
got that.
knows. Like
Yeah,
everyone knows who are those industrialists. So yeah, like we don't know like what will happen to Ladakh, and eventually in the and this is all happening because of fiat. Like I truly believe that this is all because of happening because of fiat. And Sonam
one
Wangchuk
one
doesn't
in,
know, but yes.
One incentive that Fiat does introduce is heavily maximization of profits. So because money is not scarce anymore. So you want to spend it and get as much money as soon as possible because it's going to die off. So there is where I think a lot of things come in. Corporate greed comes in, political greed comes in, and a lot of the things come in. That is definitely that is definitely can be talked about. That is definitely due to fiat.
Yes, 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 yes,
But
true.
yeah, but yeah, I would still be cautious of having centralization and decentralization
Hmm.
analogies correlated with politics directly. Those are very two different
Like there are, I
systems.
think there are some
Politics in
degrees.
general is a
Don't
yeah.
you think there are degrees like
There are some analogies that can be drawn definitely, but not sure how correlated they are.
Mm-hmm.
Fire just introduces crony capitalism to the markets. It doesn't make any sense to hold the power to increase and decrease the value of money to it doesn't make sense. Why would I give that power to someone else whilst knowing that they have good incentives to exploit it? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to.
It doesn't make any sense to give the power to control my wealth to other people whilst they have incentives to take away my wealth. Does that make sense?
That would be
They
true.
can print money, right? They can print money, they can introduce inflation. What it does is it takes money away from me and it just adds more value to their money. That's what it does.
Yes, they're rerouting the money. Like they are stealing it. Like it's a pure theft.
Yeah, I don't see any positives with fire at all, honestly.
Yeah, like the question with the decentralization come is that like if everything is decentralized, then who will build the road? Like who will build the roads if there is no government? So somehow
That
are
there
you
is an answer
saying
to
that
that. There is an
like
answer to that question. I mean, people do build roads. Corporations do build roads. Most of the time, it's private companies that build roads and take tolls on that roads. Also does build roads, and they can also build infrastructure. But that doesn't mean that that's the only way to do it. Private industries
Correct.
can
yes,
definitely build roads.
yes.
Definitely, definitely. It's definitely a valid point because I think the best roads can be built by the people who are going to use those roads. That's what I think. So I think there can be I don't know how much feasible the system is, but we can definitely build a system in a society where where we the people of some small region we decide that where should we build the road and what should be the budget on this, and then we elect someone who can build it for us just for that
Right,
place.
right, right.
Ideally, the people that you're talking about and the group of people that decides, ideally, that is what the government should be.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Right. Like I think Bitcoin will.
They are just they're just
Yes.
far from the reach of the normal people. So I don't consider them as normal people. If they were to sit besides us and then decide what road should be built, then we can
Yes.
just think
Like
on.
I
Yeah,
think people have to be responsible. Like if Bitcoin is like if Bitcoin is winning, then we have to be
just
responsible. Yes. So even if like we hold Bitcoin, if we buy Bitcoin, then we have to be responsible to hold it with care. Like otherwise we would lose that Bitcoin. Like I'm talking about because there is no customer support in Bitcoin. So by holding Bitcoin, you are becoming like you have to become so much responsible, and with that responsibility it will free your mind. Like that's what I have experienced from my life. So by holding Bitcoin, you become free from so many bondages. I can say, but your mind becomes free. Like you can think higher. So once like if like right now most of the people are storing their wealth in centralized money,
they don't
stocks.
know what they're storing. Most of the people don't understand what they're storing their wealth in. They just want to beat inflation one way or the other. They'll learn.
Yes,
So that is also one of the. I think it was in Bitcoin Standard where Saifuddin mentions that. So you have if you are not if you're on the fiat standard and you're a doctor, then you're not just a doctor.
yes.
You're a doctor plus an investor because now you earn money through your whatever like whatever
Profession is.
doctors do, and then they also have to understand how to protect their money that they have come up with. So that wastes a long time for
Yes,
everybody. If there was an easy way to save money, then doctors would be doctors, engineers would be engineers. They would just be doing what they want to do. They will have time, and then they can spend that time to do things.
yes.
So
I think Sambhav has also read Bitcoin Standard, right?
Yep.
Vaibhav, I think Vaibhav. So Vaibhav, like what the author says is that in current system you have to earn your money twice. First by doing your job
Twice.
and then by saving it, because inflation is in India. Inflation is 14%. So for the last 23
Yeah,
years, Indian government has increased the money supply by 13.8%. Okay, so but the technological progress is like 5 to 6 to 7 to 8%. So instead of like our price, the price of everything should decrease if there is a fixed money supply. Everything will, the price of everything will go to like trend towards zero. But if it is 100 some 100 1 year, next year it should be 95 93, and it should go on, like that. But central government, these people, they know that the technological innovation and society, the force of society and force of economy is that it will help to reduce the price of everything. So
definitely.
the productivity gains will flow to every people if there is a fixed money supply. So the price of everything should decrease. So now what they are doing is that they keep the target of inflation. So instead of, if they don't print, the price of everything should fall. But now they keep the target like 4%. In India, the target is 4% plus or minus 2%. So by targeting 4% inflation, what they are saying to everybody is that we will increase the price of everything by 4% on an average. So if we don't do it, the price will be less than 4 to, like, price will be lesser than before, like 4 to 5%, whatever the economic growth is. But now they are printing, now they are targeting the inflation. So everything is cheaper, 4 to 5, costlier 4 to 5%. So
Definitely.
in order to do that, they will have to print. So if they are targeting 4% inflation, they have to increase the money supply by 4% plus whatever the economical growth of that year. So more than 4%. So right now, like for the last 23
Understood.
years, they are expanding money supply at 13.8%.
To
So but
beat the 14%.
yes, but the yes 14% and inflation is 8%. So we can assume that India is growing at 5 to 6% in
Mm,
all capacity. Like, but in that process, rich is getting richer, poor is getting poorer. So there are too many things, but yeah, the Bitcoin Standard Safedin says like it is must read book if you want to start your Bitcoin journey. I think, yeah, non technical thing.
It explains the economics behind Bitcoin very good, which is very well, which is something that so I'm also a developer, and
Yes.
I knew about Bitcoin. I understood about the technology of Bitcoin long before I actually understood the importance of it. So,
okay.
so I had to read that book, and not just that book. There are many other books that probably we can read as well, and we should read as well. But I think so.
Yes.
Every solution should have a problem, right? Like, why is Bitcoin needed at all? Why does it need to exist? I think if you ask that question and then try to answer that question, you will have solved all the problem in your life.
I
So,
can
but
get that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, I think first of all, people need to understand why we need Bitcoin. Like, why we need Bitcoin. There is a problem, and first they have to understand the problem. They don't even know that they are getting looted at 10 to 15% annually. After like their wealth is getting half at every 5 years, every 4 to 5 years. So in 20 years,
Definitely.
they are like their lakh rupees will be worth 15,000. So they will need 5 lakh instead of 1 lakh. Yeah, 4 lakh instead of 1 lakh to buy the same thing. Then you need pension scheme. You need to invest your money, and you need loan, like
Investment schemes.
investment scheme. Like people are taking loans to buy 15,000 rupees phone. You must have seen, like, yes, it is common thing. Like if you like yes if you go to any mobile store, the finance guy already sitting there. Before like I did my JE coaching, like I tuition during my 11 12, like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 12 13 years ago. So at that time there was no finance institute co-working with the coaching institute. But right now, if you go to like Ellen, Akash, or Fitji, all these coaching classes, the finance guy is already sitting there. Like they have the loan department. Like they will finance your education. So did you like? Do you understand this? The loan is like, the burden of loans that is coming to the younger generation. Before that, it was for college education, college going people. Before that, it was for the like founding, like buying homes or making a business. But right now, even like kindergarten fees is like 4 lakh in city, like tier 2 cities, like 1 lakh is common fees. So these are all the
Yeah,
consequences of fiat system, like the centralization of money. So what gives them?
I
It
think
gives them power.
one of the examples that everybody understands, everybody in India also understands, and I think there are memes also on Instagram about this now, is that uh, earlier one person used to be able to feed a family of four, and now working people cannot even feed themselves. So yeah,
Yeah, Vaibhav, I also saw your post, like like no one can afford to have a child. So so Bitcoin solves this actually. So Bitcoin solves this because like if it will take time for Bitcoin to get adopted, but until it gets adopted for the majority, it will rise even further, even greater, even like higher. So there are
I don't
two.
think adoption is even needed. If I mean adoption is needed obviously for us to grow, but if you want to solve this is an individual problem, and if you as an individual want to solve this for yourself, you can just start adopting Bitcoin and see how this changes for yourself. How real
Yes.
estate becomes accessible to you, how raising a child becomes accessible to you. Everything becomes easier for the person who's off the fiat standard.
Yes, because you are not storing your wealth in the manipulative money. Yeah? We are storing your wealth in that fixed money. So, and if we are storing our money in Bitcoin, so there are different like builders developing on the Bitcoin. There are some challenges. Like there are many big challenges are there, like the mining centralization, node centralization. Like there was a block size wars in 2016, 2017. So like Bitcoin community got divided in half. Some says ki increase the block size. Like right now the block size is 2 MB. So that
mm,
will lead to the centralization because it will be hard for the everyday people to run the node.
Where do you fall on the block size was Bhavik?
Like obviously I don't support the like I will only allow the increase of block size if anyone can afford
Hardware
like
costs
100
go down.
TB SSD. Like
Yeah.
yeah, if running if run as far as running a Bitcoin node is in reach for like 1 month of our of my rent. Like if I can run a Bitcoin node with the 1 month of my
I don't
house
think you
rent
need even 1 month of your house rent
at max,
to run a bit.
even at least
It's
like
very, you can
it.
run a Bitcoin node on a Raspberry Pi.
Yes, but right now you need like yeah, we are going into like core thing, but it's a you need 8 GB RAM at least right now because there are like I saw this thing, so that's the different thing. Like let's not go into this thing, but yeah, like it is it's, far easy to run a Bitcoin node, so we can run the protocol of the Bitcoin. Like we can be our own bank or monetary. Like we can run the RBI in our house. That's way we can understand, like or the Federal Reserve in our home. And if everybody is able to do this, then there will be the best decision will emerge out of the
I
market.
agree with you.
Right.
It's very interesting about the block size was though. I was just going through one of the going through videos today about block size was. I think I'll read. I'll that book. What I think the
Hijacking.
book is itself is called Block Size Wars.
Yes, block size
I
wars. Like
think yes.
the book is like
I
yes.
just got a message by someone who's watching a stream from Germany, by the way. Thank you, Florian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've been wanting to read that. It's been on my reading list for a long time. That book.
Yeah.
So block size is a good book. Like I have read like I like 2 3 years ago. So Gavin and the fight of Gavin. The Gavin suddenly took side of the big blockers, no? And he was the big, like he was with Satoshi. He was the early Bitcoin developers.
I wasn't even aware that Gavin said that Craig Wright is probably Satoshi. I was like, what? That was very like opened up my eyes.
Are we live? I think it shows offline. We are
Looks
live,
live
right?
to me.
Okay, okay. Yes,
Yeah,
we are
yeah, I
live.
think we're like, yeah.
So yeah, someone from Germany. Thank you,
We are live
brother.
from Zapstream, right?
Yes, zap.stream.
Yes.
So, Vaibhav, would you like to ask about like Nostro or anything like I think Abhay can answer your question very beautifully about if you
So,
can to ask
so
anything.
yeah, definitely. I had one basic question. So, when I read about Nostra, I felt like as a concept, it's very good. Like that, we can have our own servers and which we call relays, I suppose. And then we can, store our data in that own in our own servers, and then we can share that data to one another. Like I got the concept. But since even I am a developer, though I am a newbie here, so even I just want to ask, like, isn't it too slow to maintain a server, a personal server for every person? So like, whenever would we like transfer the data to one another, wouldn't that be too slow as compared to the current standards?
Every person doesn't need to run their own servers. In fact, mostly a person just needs to connect to 7 or 8 relays, and then the notes get broadcasted. And what's even more beautiful is that even if you send those messages to 7 8 relays, those messages, those events don't stick to those 7 8 relays. They get broadcasted further to your contact. Like if suppose you're in my contact list, I'm connected to 7 relays, but you're in my contact list that is on one of those relays, but is also connected to
They
seven
will
other
go there
relays.
as well. Yeah.
They will all the events will reach a lot of the other relays. So yeah, you don't have to run your own relay to be able to use Nostr. You can use somebody else's relay, but yeah, you need to then be aware that you're using somebody else's relays to hold your information. But that is not a big problem since you're signing your messages using your private key, which means you're
Hmm.
telling everybody that everybody is sure that okay, this is definitely you, no one can spoof to be you. And in case of encrypted content, yes, they'll be hosted on public infrastructure, but I think that makes it even better because now everybody is aware that okay, there is some content but it is encrypted. Even you can go and see, check on the relays that your content is encrypted, and that nobody else can read your content. Unlike WhatsApp, like WhatsApp claims that it's end to end encrypted, but how do you know it's
No.
end to end
Yeah,
encrypted?
that's
But
definitely
on
not end-to-end encrypted.
Yes, but on Nostr you are sure because you can actually go and check the event where your message has is stored, that yeah, the content of this event is encrypted and nobody
So,
else will be able
like,
to see.
just one, I think the data, the key that we have in the private key or the public key that we use to encrypt the data, I think that's how much size is that as of now? How much
I
bits
think
do you know?
it follows the same SHA-256
SHA. Yeah.
hashing. Yes. So yeah, whatever the bit size is for that, I'm not sure. The encoded length is 63. The length of the string that gets encoded, but I'm not
Like
not
it's
not sure
256
about the byte
binary,
size.
right? It
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
256
SHA-256
binary.
means 256 bytes.
256
Yes.
bits. Yeah.
It's
Yes.
So my
Of the
question was that like when in the coming future, like the quantum computers that we would be using in the coming future, that would they would be able to bypass those SHA keys as just because
yes.
their computing power is so too much fast. So in that case, the current solution that the cybersecurity experts suggest, as you know, that we need to increase the size of that key,
Hmm.
which might increase the security in one
I
hand.
don't think
And
you need to increase the size of the key because there's even SHA-512. I think you need to change the algorithm by which you generate the hashes. which is a completely new algorithm, quantum safe hashes or quantum safe cryptography that you need. Because simply increasing the size of the key would only mean that you only need if you go into
More
quantum
time.
computing, you only need, no, not more time, more qubits to be able to solve it. Yeah, more time in one scenario, or you can just increase the cube number of qubits to be able to crack that key. So, so yeah.
Yeah, I was aware of those cybersecurity algorithms, which were, anti-quantum computing. I have not read deeper into it,
But
but yeah, I know the case.
but even in that case, I think uh, it's not something that we should be worried about right now. What you should be worried about is what do you call it? SNDL, maybe, save now, decrypt later.
Hmm.
Uh, but uh, but but yeah, I think that's uh, I don't know how far away is that quantum technology that we're talking about that can decrypt everything.
Vaibhav,
Uh,
Vaibhav, you're talking about like a quantum computer threat upon Nostr or Bitcoin or both?
on
Uh,
SHA-256 encryption.
Basically on SHA-256, yeah, one point. But the
Okay.
second point, the main point that I was about to ask was not that. My question was that when we would, tamper the ways by which we make the SHA key right now. So wouldn't that make it slower in the future? That was my main question,
No, it
as we
doesn't
are
make it
blocking.
slower. It doesn't make it slower because you don't need to increase the length of the key. It's
I'm
just a
talking about the
different.
protocol, not the SHA key, the overall Nostr protocol. Wouldn't that make
No,
that slow?
in that case, why there is no reason, because you're just changing the signing, just the signing mechanism. It doesn't any everything else doesn't have to change. It does mean that it does have to go through at least a hard fork or a update. You wouldn't call it a hard fork in case of Nostr. In case of Bitcoin, it might have to go through a hard fork. In case of Nostr, you would have to update NIP 01, or you'd have to come up with a new protocol that everybody would then have to move into. And backwards compatibility will also be a problem, and everybody will be pulled off their private keys probably.
Messages, yes.
Uh, yes,
Yeah,
but
the whole private keys would
But
be
we'll be
actually
able
used.
to migrate our accounts, right? Like, I
yes,
think we discussed in our last episode, last
yes,
with Abhay. Like,
we should be able to migrate our accounts.
uh,
Yeah, but that is the case. It shouldn't make it any slower. I don't see why would it be the case where it
but
would
Facebook
be
just
any slower.
sold their private messaging data to Netflix for
Yeah.
$100 million.
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
like,
nothing is secure. Like all of your data is not secure anyways right now. At least on Nostr,
Yeah.
it is secure right now. Maybe
right
in the
now,
future,
no.
it's not.
Like, yes.
Okay, that's a good point in that.
Yeah, everything, like, if we are chatting on our own Nostr, it will break eventually. Like, someone will be able to see our messages when the cryptography breaks. But by the time we will move to the higher encryption, or like another algorithm, as Abhay said. But I think Vaibhav was asking if whether it will make Nostr slow. So,
One point slow, and
so
another point as a Nostr developer.
we will have good hardware, don't you think so? Like, the hardwares are also developing, like, no.
Yeah, definitely. But as I have seen the hardware market of the general consumer right in the past few years, there is nothing written on it as such. But I just have an idea like that in the future the general hardware which will be provided to the general public for buying and stuff would be less powerful. Rather, the all of the tasks that we are doing right now on our
Okay.
hardware, that would be carried out to a cloud computer, and that would be hosted and managed by a very large organization, and they would just provide us basic hardware to use that computation. That's what I think. I just thought about it.
If in the fiat world that makes sense, but not in
Yes,
the not
yes.
in the
Like,
Nostr
I
world that
think,
you have just
yes,
joined.
I don't yes. Now, whoever said to you, I think I don't agree, because we have powerful phones right now. Someone from the Nostr developer, he says that we can even run a small relay in our phone. or and even a
No,
Bitcoin node. So like by the like within few months or years, I think we'll be able to run a small bit Nostr relay on our phone. I think it will take like 30-40
It's
GB.
already there uh,
Yes, it's already
on
there.
some clients.
definitely. That was to be, that was, I was, too much not so optimistic about Nostr getting the powers to be run all over the world. But I just thought that what if the system which is running right now, it gets keeps on get, to be,
And
it gets on
then yes,
continuing.
yes. So for that system, we need in intense centralization. Like otherwise, they can't survive. Like they need to do KYC. They need to check the surveil our financial transactions. They need to keep track of our like credit score. They need to keep track of our carbon score, so that they can restrict the purchases, because they have infused the and they have encouraged the consumerism behavior because of the value of fiat, because it is getting devalued every day. So everyone is getting encouraged to spend their money as soon as possible. No one is incentivized to invest and save. So because
Agreed.
of
Yeah.
so this behavior has been implemented in the society, and no one wants to save. Like no, I should not say no one. Majority of the people don't want to save, so they are consuming like exponentially, and this has become the problem for the government. And now they want to restrict the financial transactions and everything. Like everything they want, they have to restrict everything for the system to run. So
Yeah, that I agree definitely, because while few days ago, Bhavitsa, you told me something, some basic concepts about Bitcoin and Nostra. So I just, while talking to a random friend, I just tried to explain him like how can we, decrease our dependence on working for money and then storing that money in bonds and the current traditional stuff. So I got a very, very, I don't know how can I say it, a very, unrealistic reply from my friend. He said that what would we all do if we if we don't, get to earn money throughout our life? We would have no work to do. So that was
like
a very,
no any logic or no any fundamentals. Actually, they
yeah,
don't know. Like
he said
they
that.
don't know. Like if you ask anyone why the price of everything is increasing, they say because it does. Like yes,
It's systematic. It's always happened, right?
always. I don't know. Like what do you like to throw a light on? Why do you say always? Like I think
No,
because
I'm
you
just
know
being
more about
sarcastic.
history.
No, no, I'm just being sarcastic. It
Okay,
has not really happened in history.
okay.
It's just happening right now, but people have become so normalized to it, so disinsensitized to having their own money taken away from them that it's just normal at this point. It's
It's kind
acceptable.
of happened
It's
in history as well. As in,
yeah,
even when we used to have gold coins, people used to debase those gold coins, and with
mm,
just as
Yes.
like
yeah,
in case of
bronze.
gold, they used to have. They used to add materials, bronze in it or something
Yeah.
to debase the currencies.
Yeah,
It's not nothing new.
and new
No.
kings used to create their own currency to, separate that from the old currency so that the new currency has a better value
Yes.
to the old
But
currency.
yeah, that is why people are so excited. I think like Bitcoiners are so excited about Bitcoin because it's the first time we have a currency that cannot be debased.
Image like first time, like
Right.
yeah, we cannot like it's hard to change the supply, and like let's say it's impossible, but there are still debates going on, and that is the good part of that thing. People are debating this thing. People are always asking question about Bitcoin, because there are few 15-20 people who control Bitcoin core.
So I just have one more question to the Bitcoiners, because you guys have tremendous knowledge about it. How do you see, how do you guys see to not promote Bitcoin as an alternative money, but as an alternative to, just a barter system or just a currency that so that people don't need to think upon back in their mind like that we have to earn this or we have to save it or store it. How do you guys see do that?
we still have to earn Bitcoin and save the Bitcoin. I mean, like whatever currency you use, you have to earn it. You have to get it from somewhere, right? So you either
Yeah.
exchange it for dollars or INR, whatever, or you earn in it. You sell services to get receive it. You still have to earn it, and then you would have to hold on to it, as in not spend it all. So you would still have to save it. There is no escaping that. That is just like simple money. But I guess I think what you're trying to say is how we get people off of the mindset of that this is Bitcoin. You have to purchase it from somewhere, and then you have to invest in it. I think those kinds of mindset is something that we'll see evolving gradually as Bitcoiners. Like it most of the it's Bitcoiners' jobs to tell people how it's a great store of
Yeah.
value, and then we have to make it a medium of exchange, as in we have to like promote technologies like Lightning, Liquid, and other layered scaling solutions
And it
to
will
make
grow,
sure.
like demand and supply. Like if there are enough people, if using Bitcoin, the block size is 2 MB. Every 10 minute, only 4,000 or 5,000 transactions can get added into blockchain. So if many people are using the blockchain Bitcoin, so the fees will rise, the transaction fees. So that will incentivize other developers to build some products, some layer solution, and give some different product to use Bitcoin as a medium of exchange or whatever. Like so, and there are solutions right now: Liquid, Lightning, eCash, the Kai. I like I
Yeah.
say the we were talking about Kai, CALLE, Kale. Some say calls him as a Kole. We and me and Vaibhav, we were talking about this today morning. So Kai is developing eCash, Xiaomi eCash on Bitcoin. And actually, Xiaomi eCash was built like it was developed in 1982 before Bitcoin, and
Oh,
it was offering complete privacy and it was easily scalable. But for the eCash to run, we needed Bitcoin. So before that, it was being used by these big banks and Federal Reserve, and still it got failed. But now because of Bitcoin, eCash can like eCash, we can see the power of eCash. And like it is a journey after all. For Bitcoin, it is journey. Like if anyone says Bitcoin is not usable, or their fees are high, or whatever the problem is, like it is like there is a trade off, and there is a risk, and it is a technology being developed. So if you have to be part of it, and you will get the fruits. And if you don't be the part of it, then you will become the later majority, and you will just have to accept the whatever the system is like. See, if Bitcoin fails or success, we don't know. But if Bitcoin succeed after 20-30 years, all will have to transact Bitcoin, or have to, like they will be earning 500 or 1000 sets per month after 20 years if Bitcoin succeeds. 500 to 1000 sets
definitely.
after 20 years a month, and that will buy you a big villa in 1 year in maybe New York or Mumbai. And right now we are paying 1000 sets for this stream. So like
I'm not sure about the time prediction of it, whether like within 1 year it will happen, or within 10 years, or 30 years. But
I have
it
one
is
model.
definitely
I have
number.
one model in my mind. Like yes,
Yeah, but it is not definitely number go up technology, as in you have
yes.
a fixed supply of something and you have an infinite supply of something else. So price of this thing with respect to the other thing will definitely be more with time. So then that is definitely the case.
Yes, and for the Bitcoin to get adopted, we have internet, we have hardware devices, we have laptops, we have phones. The hardware and all these things are already there for the Bitcoin to get adopted. We
Right.
just need to develop one app, and people and thousands and millions of people will be able to buy Bitcoin. And same happened with Nostr. Like so many people get their first Bitcoin on Nostr, because like Nostr was a like yes, Abhay also. So and so many like Nostra is a great tool to orange pill. Orange pill means like educating Bitcoin, or like there is any definition about orange pill? Like I get confused so much time.
Orange pill is basically like converting somebody to into becoming a Bitcoiner, I
Like
guess.
take him out of the fiat matrix and yes, take it out of
Yes.
the fiat matrix, and fiat matrix is all controlled, manipulative.
It comes from the movie Matrix.
Movie
Morpheus offers
matrix.
Neo
Yes.
the red pill and
The
the blue
red pill
pill.
and the blue
Orange
pill.
pill, red pill, orange pill. If you take the orange pill, like blue pill, then you will be out of the matrix. So same, the
Yeah.
Bitcoin is orange pill, and if you take that orange pill, you will see the system like this all is getting manipulated by the fiat tools, this technology, and yeah, they are using social media, everything, like everything to make this control.
I recently got an orange pill a few days ago.
Yes, by
It's
by
very
whom?
hard to, yeah.
By me, Weber, or someone like
Definitely by you. Sambhav
oh.
is not really good at explaining things to me.
Acha.
It's very hard to have that conviction. No, I shouldn't say it's hard, because when you uncover, like when you are face to face with the truth, then it's really hard to defy it. But until you are there, until you can identify some things as true, it's very hard to be convicted yourself, because the whole world is telling you that it's not right.
Hmm.
And to convince yourself, convince, like move out of the propaganda and everything, it's very hard,
It
because it's
was
years.
to be honest, it was kind of easy for me because from the from the back of the mind of my mind, I was, not so supportive to any of the governments. I was not uh, into a place like that I would elect one government over the other. I was always of the mind that there should be a decentralized power. Like we should decide for our city and our state, and same is the case for other people.
Yes.
Also, I also had those ideas like we should not have boundaries towards the countries because earlier in the days, like I don't know how many of thousands of years ago, we didn't used to have boundaries between the countries, right? There was one globe, one earth,
Yes.
and one land for all. So that ideas I already had in my mind, and then when I got to know about Bitcoin, so
It's easy to
I got it.
orange pill libertarians, I guess.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's like you opted for freedom always, Vaibhav, right? So that like
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
freedom. Yeah, I have seen
I'm
in my journey like every freedom mindset people are easy to grasp Bitcoin.
I am 23 and I don't have a voter ID card right now, and I
Nice.
won't even make it until I make
My
it.
father, like he took me. Just please let me make like let me complete all your documents. I was in the 10th starter and he make all my documents. Like I gave all the biometric, fingerprint, everything is with the government. So
I don't get it. I just, daily while hopping internet and other reels over the Instagram, I usually daily get to know that someday this person's WhatsApp chats have been leaked, and someday this
hmm.
person got his security concern, and it was all
Hmm.
the people around me who don't know about cybersecurity or development. They are like our WhatsApp chats are into an
Hmm.
encrypted, and no one can hack them. But
Yes.
I guess in this group I am the least anti-government person here, but in any other group I am the most. So,
Like I'm we are
and the
not
reason why I say this is because whenever you say we, right? Like if you say we as a collective, then that means that we is the government. Whenever
yes.
you're going above the individual level and moving to a collective level, that collective then becomes the government. So there is no escaping the government ever when you are in a social order.
Yeah.
So
The role of the technology or role of Bitcoin should be to reduce the role of the government as much as possible. Like that's
oh
all.
yes, definitely there are some things that you
definitely.
should kick government out of. That part I can totally agree. And
And
money is definitely one of those parts.
and
Wait,
in the
what are
beginning,
the
when
parts where government
Abhay,
should be kicked out of?
Oh,
One
free
by one.
speech.
Free speech. Okay. My wife's
I
please.
mean, so I think the way that you can approach this, this is a very good question. What are the things that you can kick government out of? And I think that whatever you can, as in whatever technologies you build
Right.
that can achieve it. And the way that you will know it that you have been able to do it is that it will be successful. If it is not successful, then it wasn't able to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes
So
sense.
if you have to achieve something, you go ahead and build it. That is the culture in Nostr and culture in Bitcoin as well.
And
And we don't complain.
Bitcoin will help us to decentralize so many things. So after internet, so many things got centralized because government got so much power to spread the narrative, spread the, like, so many, they were able to impose so many restrictions. And if you go in the history, 1945 Bretton Woods Agreement, 1971 that fiat standard, and 1934 they ban the holding of gold in 1934. So that was the order 6102 order. So according to that order, no one was allowed to hold gold. They will have to deposit gold, and they would get like $20 for an ounce. So they can do it
Same is the
for.
case with Japan government right now. They don't want the people, to save their money in the banks. Rather, they want to invest it. So for that, what they do is they charge a lot of interest to the. I think they charge negative interest to the money that is kept in the savings account. This
So
is
that
what I
people
read, I
get.
think.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, Japan economy is like it is like subject to study because the GDP to debt ratio is highest and still it is functioning. But okay, like but still it is the, like, they are able to manage it with these fiat tools. But if they would be on Bitcoin standard, then they would be prosperous, so much prosperous. So Bitcoin is all about responsibility and freedom also. If the value of your Bitcoin will increase, you will become free, and with freedom comes responsibility. So it's all intertwined. But yeah, like for Bitcoin, I'm also learning only. Like, mm,
Yeah.
Great powers comes great responsibility.
yes, and Bitcoin
That is
will
true.
make
And
everyone responsible.
if you've read, I think anybody who's looking into the not should not definitely say politics, but at least the ethos and the philosophy behind this, I think you should definitely read The Sovereign Individual. It was written in 1977. I forget the author's name, but they
Yes,
predicted cryptocurrencies and AI
yes.
way before they were actually anything.
Sovereign individual.
So
It's a really really good book. Like every like in one of the, like it's top 10 books for the Bitcoiners. For the And the whole cypherpunk movement started. Uh, it was a part of a cypherpunk movement, and cypherpunk movement was the, like, they took their inspiration from the Austrian economics, the Karl Munger and Friedrich Hayek of the 19th century economist and philosopher. So, like, for them, value was subjective. Like, there is no.
also, I think going back to the previous question, as in what are the things that we should kick government out of? I think one of the best quotes of all time is, "The necessity is the mother of invention." So they made
Right.
money so bad that somebody had to go out and create Bitcoin. If it wasn't so bad, probably Satoshi would never have thought about making Bitcoin.
It's true.
Then they made free speech so bad, they curtailed speech so much, they did so much manipulation that somebody had to, Fiat Jeff had to go out and write the
Nostra
readme for
protocol.
Nostr.
Hmm.
So I think the necessity should be
True.
there, and then we start creating things automatically.
And it
Right.
all comes from our, like, basic nature of human. Like, we want to be free, we want to be happy, and that's why, like, once in a while someone comes and they give us tools, and they destroy these like centralization, control, the unethical behavior, or whatever this bad practice you say.
And talking about that necessity point, I think one solution that I can propose is we can keep everything decentralized, but when necessity comes, some things can be put into centralization. Otherwise, everything can be put into, like, for
I
example, let's say military. For right now,
Like
till the
we
time we
would
have
not need
borders,
military. Like we like
yeah,
we,
definitely.
like
One
like we would need less
one point
military
is
because military is so much bigger right now. Only is it's only because of fiat system. Like
definitely,
because
definitely.
agree with Bhavik's point, but like when you move to decentralization, it's very hard to come back to centralization unless and until like something severe happens, and unless the decentralization was implemented very badly. But but if in
Right.
general, if you move towards a system where you give people power, it's very hard to take that power back away from them. uh, Again, until that
hmm.
system is not like, until the way that you
Even
provided the power was.
Yeah, even I too agree from Bhavik sir that once this system comes in, we don't need military. Plus, we don't need borders between the countries or between the states.
Like
Like, we don't
it
need
will
any of that.
like demand supply free market. The biggest force is the free market. So what is the free market force is कि we 8 billion people are acting according to our own incentives, like whatever the we all analyze our risk, and we act accordingly, we spend our bitcoin accordingly. So that will create the free market force, and it will be hard for anyone to suppress that force, and it is happening right
Definitely.
now. And even bitcoin is like 1 trillion, 1.5 trillion right now. Still government is no, the 2000 trillion dollar big government is not able to stop 1 trillion dollar of $1 trillion bitcoin right now. They are not able to stop it. Just see the force of that, the free market or fixed rule. So there are
Any
fixed rule in
examples?
bitcoins. Yes.
Any examples here
Um,
where the government tried to stop and you guys, any
like China
story or
banned
any
it.
incident?
China banned it. Hash rate dropped 40%, and within 12 months, hash rate was the mining power, the computing power of Bitcoin. So China banned it in 1971. India like imposed the legality of trading
Yeah,
cryptocurrency in 2018. People fight, and in 2021 they won, and Supreme Court they give their mandate against the government, and they have to continue the trading. Right now they're imposing 30% tax.
yeah,
Because of 30% tax, liquidity got weaker, and for like money is getting going out of the country. So it is defunding the government. The Bitcoin is trading at 7 to 8% premium. More people are
right.
incentivized to sell their Bitcoin in India, because if you buy Bitcoin at like 1 crore rupees of USD in like USA, you can sell it in 1 crore 10 lakh in India. So if when government imposes these rules, it is incentivizing all other players to create the black market, or so we can't. So ना कोई चीज़ को ना बोलना उसका solution नहीं होता. Like you can't tell no to
Hmm.
anything. Like you have to.
You cannot ban Bitcoin. You can only ban yourself from Bitcoin. I think that
Yes.
is the
Yes.
that is the
But
major
for
thing.
anything, like for drugs, even Switzerland allowed cocaine last 6 months ago.
Germany.
Germany allowed
Germany.
hashish and
Germany
charas, like
2 days
marijuana,
ago.
just yes
Marijuana.
recently.
Yeah.
So because they have to do India, like India, like this all these markets are getting created just to get the benefit out of it. So India is the one of the like first, second, and third largest consumer of marijuana. Delhi and Mumbai are the
Hmm.
biggest consumer, and people are like there are mafias running around. So, but for Bitcoin, as everyone will realize, like we don't know, like for India, even after 10, 20, 30 years, people will be using fiat currencies. Like I'm not sure. Like I don't see 100% adoption of Bitcoin, because I think it will be a long fight between Bitcoin and the government, and the good people need to go into the government, and government is full of bad practices, full of evil practices. So it
It
is
doesn't
hard.
have to be a long fight. I mean, there are ways to coexist, definitely. Even for fiat currencies, I don't think there is. I mean, even though we are talking about Bitcoin liquidity and people using Bitcoin as a currency, but I still think that people can understand some values of Bitcoin and still be using fiat to spend for their daily needs and necessities, and that can coexist at least for some time. Uh,
For some
we are
time, like
predicting it, as in
how many years do you think, like
I don't know.
just like
It
2 years, three
totally
years,
depends
5 years,
on
10 years?
no, no, because it depends on the people. No, so suppose something happens, something magical happens, and RBI is all of a sudden very strict with the money. They're like, we won't let the government print any more money. We won't increase the money supply. Because they're people, they can be irrational sometimes. Although this would be a very rational thing to do, but but let's say they do this, then suddenly you won't see Bitcoin price increasing because there won't be because then fiat would not be infinite. The fiat, I mean, if the INR restricts the money,
But they
increasing the
need
money
to
supply,
print. They
they
will
need to
have to
print. That
print.
is,
They have to print.
I'm just
Otherwise,
saying.
they will have to go
I'm just saying
bankrupt.
if they. I'm just saying that if they somehow come into the senses
Yes.
and somehow understand that okay, we cannot spend money infinitely, then you won't see Bitcoin price increasing.
But do you know,
It's
Abhay,
just that
for that decision, they will have to buy Bitcoin. Like right now we are talking about economics, because they have printed so much debt. To pay those debt, they will have to print that money, and they will have to do it.
I don't know
Otherwise,
about India,
no, in
but
India,
US
in India,
definitely
it is
US definitely has to do.
2.8 trillion dollar of debt, and the economy is 3.3. So 70-80% of the GDP is the debt, and
Is going into interest
it was
payments.
50% when the current government came in the power to 2014. So we are so yes, current government is printing uh, faster than the previous government.
I know,
Just
and to
increasing the
be
debt.
honest, since this is people, you won't like Bitcoin. We can definitely say that the supply will never increase. It's capped. For RBI system, since it's a system governed by people, we will never be able to say that. Even if for 4 or 5 years say they do cap the supply, we will never know that in the future they might still increase it. But what I'm saying is, you cannot put a time frame to it
Yes, yes, yes,
because
yes, yes, yes.
this is definitely
Yeah,
something that
it's just
can
a
happen.
skepticism, or like let's say the prediction, or like the tukka marna. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sambhav, anything in your mind?
Not on this topic. I'm way too knowledgeable on this topic, honestly. I'm just hearing from you guys.
Mm-hmm. Any topic like you guys want to discuss? I think we are 1 hour into stream, more than 1 hour.
1 hour, 15 minutes.
Oh, I want to go back to the military topic also. I don't know. I mean, I don't know whether Bitcoin will lead to a world without borders because why is the army necessary? It is necessary to protect your property rights because otherwise you can be invaded and your property rights can be violated. So, do you think that your property rights are important enough to keep supporting the army? If you do think so and you do put your money there, then there will continue to exist a military, even on the Bitcoin standard.
But
So
Bitcoin is the best property.
That is the point of an army, right? The point of an army is to protect your property. But the way army is being used right now, we can see, is not to protect your own property, but to take away someone else's property.
Yes.
Yeah, I
exactly,
think that was the point from the beginning of,
you can scale it
the
down,
kingdom
but
system.
you
Yeah.
can't get rid of it. You can't go into a borderless
You can't get
utopia.
rid of it. That's
Yeah.
correct. There will always be like someone to,
Like global money will
And
bring
Bitcoin is
global
the
world.
best property. Bitcoin is the best property. I do agree, but you can't live in it, right? So you
Why?
still need
you
a
have to live
house.
physically.
Yes,
You,
yes,
you
yes,
Like
still
yes, yes,
need
yes.
you still need shelter over your head, and
Okay.
you still need some kind of law and
Okay,
order to
bhai.
be able to protect that shelter on your head.
Okay, okay. Right now, the majority of wealth is stored in the real estate. In
Oh,
China,
yeah,
it is
real estate
70%.
as
In
a yes,
India,
real estate as an inflation hedge, and comparing Bitcoin to that, that is a completely different topic. And Bitcoin is definitely better as an inflation hedge than real estate.
no, no, no.
I'm just
The
talking about
the
the
point
need for
about
real
the
estate.
property rights, we will need lesser army, or like we need to protect Bitcoin to protect the world. That I can say we need to protect Bitcoin. Like otherwise, the war will continue. So we need to protect the Bitcoin miners. And if for that you can read you can Jason Lowry thesis is good. There are
Of course,
so many
I've gone
debates.
through his. Yeah.
Yes.
Also, I don't think we need to be as serious about. I mean, to be
Like
very honest, I think
what if you
Bitcoin is
don't know you don't need the protection about your property? What if you don't
no, no.
need the protection about your
I,
home
I, I,
house?
I,
I
I don't think that is the case because you would need some kind of law and order. Also, just about Bitcoin, I don't think. In fact, I don't think we need to be very concerned about protecting Bitcoin because Bitcoin protects itself.
Yes, it will be
That is
protected
the
automatically.
that
Like
is
yes,
that is that is the
everyone is
beauty
getting
of Bitcoin.
incentivized. Yes, it
Yes.
Plus,
will
I
do.
just want to add, I just want to add a point that I didn't wanted to say that Bitcoin would suppress or Bitcoin would, get off the boundaries of the country. But I do surely think that when the world doesn't need the assistance of government, then we can say that we don't need boundaries between the countries.
I don't
The
think that will ever
government,
happen.
Like
I
it will be
mean,
evolution. Like
whenever
that's
you,
hypothetical.
yeah, whenever you
That's
leave the
complete.
gates open, somebody will enter it.
yeah,
So,
Yeah,
but there's
definitely.
but
That's completely
there will be
hypothetical.
degrees. There will
Yeah,
be degrees. Like there is nothing absolute. Like see the Europe, the all countries are it is like states of India. The countries in Europe,
yeah, they
it's so
can
much
travel
borderless. So
easily.
that you can say those are borderless.
Yeah, but I just want to say like that the right now what I can see from past 200 300 years, the boundaries between the countries are to be made
Increasing.
just they are increasing. Plus, they are made so that someone from one government can market their territory.
Yes.
So if we take out government from the picture, I don't think that's firstly
Yes.
that's
Yes. Yes.
completely
Yes. Yes. Yes.
hypothetical. But
No, no, no,
if
no.
there is no
The book,
government,
the sovereign individual book, they talked about the reducing role of government.
yes, that is true.
So border will
When you talk
reduce.
about yeah, so when you talk about Bitcoin, the economic capabilities are reduced. You can't print any more money. So that you reduce
yeah,
the role of government there. When you talk about free speech, when you talk about Noster, the control over speech is reduced. But that doesn't mean that the government has somehow dissolved,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes. There is no zero government.
If
Like
you
there
want to
will
run a
be some.
business in yeah, because if you want to run a business in your company and you're hiring employees, you are still answerable to that government.
Yes,
So there's also a great quote. Bitcoin is protected from the government. As in, a government cannot go after Bitcoin, but you are not. The government
yes,
can still go after you.
yes.
So
I don't know how will the government, function even if they stop getting money from us. I think there would be no
you
government.
still have to pay taxes. The
No,
Bitcoin
like
doesn't.
there will be no taxes. There will be charges
Yeah,
to use any services. Like Safadin talks about this
yeah,
thing very
that's
beautifully. Like it will
I
reduce.
think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
Governments will be
utopian.
voluntarily. We can
I
discuss this
think that's
thing.
utopian. Yeah,
It's
I don't think we're
utopian.
getting to that anytime soon. And
Okay.
that does
Yes.
sound like a libertarian utopia. But as in until government has a a monopoly over violence,
Yes.
right? Until government has a monopoly over violence, they will charge property tax from you. If
Yes.
you have a
Yes.
property, you will get taxed. Okay. Then until you are whenever you are opening a company, when you're selling services, you will be taxed. There will be a GST because that is
But now
and
think
it is
about the
upka.
reducing the role of government. If Bitcoin success now, the role of government will reduce. Right now, in the 75 years of Indian history, the GDP to tax is at highest 11.55%. This shows us the control and authoritative nature of this current government.
That is
So
definitely
yes,
true.
yes,
The government will not be able to expense itself. I mean, the amount, the deep state network that it has, and
yes,
the
yes, yes,
amount
yes,
of
yes, yes.
authority that it's
The role
over
will
to impose on
reduce.
you, that will be reduced, because of course they won't have the money to
Yes.
do this, to maintain this.
When they stop
But
getting
then,
funds from us, that will stop
But
that
it
will
won't be
yes, but
reduce.
zero.
then they
Like,
would still be able to tax you. That's what I'm saying. Until and
Oh,
unless
how
they have a
does that
monopoly over violence.
how does this cryptocurrency and Bitcoin evade the idea of tax? I just
so
want
don't
It
to
say
it doesn't.
cryptocurrency
see
and
of your
Bitcoin.
views.
Only Bitcoin.
I don't think it does. I think you still have to, even if you're even if you're like doing Bitcoin, you still have to pay taxes, and you'll still have to pay taxes for a long time. I mean, you
Yes,
can,
for a
like,
long
people
time. Like,
can go
yes, yes.
ahead and use Bitcoin to hide things and do whatever, but and like whatever you're doing in Bitcoin, probably you can hide those things. But whenever you're interacting with the government systems, as in whenever you go and purchase a physical bottle of something, you're paying GST on it, right? Whenever you're opening a company, whenever you're buying property, you are paying taxes on it. So you won't be able to avoid taxes completely.
Actually,
You
I don't agree on so many things, and there are some gray things. So I think we will definitely discuss about this topic for some session. Like, it is a very, like, how the government will function in a Bitcoin standard, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
I keep.
definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, it's very hard to say,
Definitely.
because we don't know what the Bitcoin standard is going to be.
We can
It's
only
a work in
speculate.
progress. Yes.
We can speculate with our, like, our own arguments and. Mm.
Yeah, and whatever I'm saying is saying for right now. Right now, if even if you're for an individual who's on a, because as an individual,
Yes.
you can be on a Bitcoin standard right now,
Yes.
and even if you are a person who's in a bit on a Bitcoin standard right now, you still have to do these things. It doesn't go away. You are suddenly not saved from all of these things.
See, if I buy property in Bitcoin, like people are selling in Gujarat the property in Bitcoin, I cannot, like, I will have to pay like
You
two
will get
percent.
papers for that property, right?
Yes, I will have to pay like 2 to 5% of the tax,
Yes.
of the original tax.
Yes.
है ना?
But that is what everybody has to pay.
No, everybody is like, if everybody is paying 100 rupees for any real estate transaction, I will pay in Bitcoin, like 80% of the amount in Bitcoin to the owner of the previous property, and
Ah.
20% in the cash, and then I will pay the charges on
They pay
20% of
that
the fiat
charge
amount.
on 20% of the fiat
Yes, and
amount.
that is happening, like, it is happening on
But you
cash.
still do pay the yearly. Yeah, you don't pay.
Yes,
That is
but I property tax.
the sale and purchase. Since you're doing it on Bitcoin, you can avoid the sale and purchase. Then whatever you buy, you can avoid the GST. Whatever you buy on a Bitcoin, you can avoid the GST. I'm just saying that whenever you interact, that all you can move away from. But whenever you interact with
Government
the
doesn't
physical
produce
world,
anything.
it
Government
only
doesn't.
takes away.
Uh, so, like, this private, like, we will still pay taxes, but it will go to private parties instead of governments, and private parties have the skin in this, in that game, so they won't, like, they will have to manage that, those tax fund, like, or the charges or whatever
Yeah,
accordingly.
this can be the case. Like,
I understand that that philosophy. I don't know how practical it is, though.
Yeah, we'll discuss
we
about
can
this thing.
have that. Definitely, definitely.
We also, Abhay also wanted to talk about Nostr decentralization, that paper. Abhay, you
Hmm.
can share, like, if for 2 3 minutes, 5 minutes, if you have
I
gone
think
through that paper.
there's a I've not gone through it
It's
completely. I
Chinese
think there's a
paper, right?
very
Hong Kong. It came from China.
it came from University of Hong Kong, where they were testing about whether you can like what happens if you take the top 30 relays out of Nostr. Do you stop seeing your posts? And then they had it, what does it mean to be top 30 relays? Is it by number of posts? Is it by number of users? So they found even if we do it by number of posts and remove the top 30 relays, your note 95% of the notes can still be found on other relays. And by users, I think it can go even more. Like if the relays are ranked by users, you can even go till 70
And this trend
and
is
still have.
going towards centralization or decentralization. Like, if we see after 1 or 2 or 3 years, it is.
I don't know. I don't know.
What is the trend?
Trend should definitely, if we are able to do it correctly, it should definitely trend towards decentralization.
Decentralization, like.
I think that is something that Nostr will prove every second, every minute, every hour, every a month that it continues to exist, it keeps on proving. But yeah, that we'll have to see. I hope it goes towards decentralization, because that is how we know that it's working. And but the changes I'm seeing are very positive, as in the outbox model and those sorts of things are very positive. Also,
Okay.
yeah,
Yes.
people are also creating parallel networks, as in there are a Japanese network of relays which only serve Japanese users, and only have Japanese content in them. So I think
Like
those sorts
how
of
do they
things will again.
censor? Like how, by IP address or like geographical censorship?
I don't know. I think it's by IP address and also content, but I'm
Okay.
not sure how they are deciphering it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But yeah, but yeah, we can have something like that for, let's say, India,
India.
and or
For
any place
state
in the, or
also, like for
any.
a city or for a community or for a company also, like we can have a relay
Yep.
for our
We
private
can set
company.
up a Noster, yeah, a relay for your private company, a relay for your private group. We can set
Okay.
up a Noster relay for a private group, and then we can just communicate on that, and then that will be your own private social network.
So if I if on my primal client, if I am connected to private relay for four people, like for we four people, and I'm also connected to the public relay for demos. So if I
Then that
post,
is a problem, because then your notes can get broadcasted, and
okay,
if it is connected to the internet, I mean, what you can do is you can hide your relay such that only people within a network can access it. So other people won't be able to access it.
so I
Whoever
have to
are in
use
that
different
network can
client,
only access it.
specialized client for to use the private relay.
No, what so companies have a VPN, right?
Yes.
And their
Hmm.
network cannot be accessed from outside it. So if they host
Yeah.
their relays within that VPN, it would still be protected. Nobody would have to use a specialized client or
Okay.
something
Okay.
to
Okay.
be
Okay.
able to do that.
So in that case, are you saying that those relays won't get connected to other relays? Is that what you're
Those
saying?
relays won't get connected. Yeah, the nodes on those relays won't go outside the
Broadcast.
network,
Okay.
because nobody can access that network. So
The
it's not that you're stopping
system
it.
the system closely works as similar to as a proxy chain. Have you like heard about it? Proxy chain?
I've heard about a proxy chain. Oh, by the way, even in this system, your notes can get broadcasted, because your notes can end up going on other relays, because clients, as a client, you can choose to broadcast it to other relays, but they
Okay,
won't
yeah.
be accessible from that same relay.
It will be beautiful to see how Nostra like develops and
Yeah,
Bitcoin
it will be
also.
beautiful. That is why I don't make very huge claims about Bitcoin and Nostr, as in this is going to happen, this is going to happen, because that kind of robs away the excitement of living in the moment as well, as in
Right, right,
seeing
right,
how
right. True.
it goes and develops. It might be completely very different. We don't know. It's good to see, and it's good to shape it. I mean, if you just talk about it to other people, if you give your ideas, you can shape it towards the places where you want to shape it,
Right, right.
rather than just assuming that that's where it's going.
Okay. I think it was a very nice session with all of you.
Yep,
You know, I think we should end up.
very informative.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
good. Thank you, Abhay. Thank you, Vaibhav. Thank you, Sambhav. And thank you, all the viewers, for watching this stream.
Thank
And
you for hosting us, Sambhav and Bhavik sir.
yes,
Thank you for
yes,
hosting this.
yes, yes, it's our pleasure always. So, okay, guys, thank you so much. We'll meet in the next stream. Let me end the stream.